Alright, so we have Michal Oleksiejczuk versus Shamil Gamzatov. Gamzatov has a 2-inch height advantage, 2-inch reach advantage. He's returning after about 2 years, I think. Yeah, I'm not very high on the guy, honestly. He's not very good. His striking's okay. He's mostly throwing singular strikes. Yeah, he's a point fighter. He kicks a lot, throws a lot of kicks. Fast arsenal kicks, oblique kicks, lead leg high kicks, lead leg low kicks, high kicks, stuff like that. Not really using too much of his boxing. So that could be dangerous because if Oleksiejczuk comes in with that pressure heavy style and he starts cutting off the cage and doesn't give Gamzatov any space for his kicks and his, for his techniques that he likes to throw, then I think Oleksiejczuk eventually finds the finish because Gamzatov's punches not very good. His hands drop after he does throw them. He's very reckless in the pocket. He likes to throw the lead left hook or the step in jab if he does throw his hands at all. His boxing isn't very good, and if Oleksiejczuk is in the pocket, starts swinging hooks like he generally likes to do, likes to cut off the cage to the 2-3 as the opponent's moving to their right or to the left, depending on which side he cuts off. Then I feel like he could eventually get the finish. Oleksiejczuk, he's a pressure boxer. Probably is the game plan here, for sure. One thing he does do is that he will square his stance frequently when he is pressuring, and that could set up the takedowns of Gamzatov. Not something Gamzatov generally looks to do, like as a game plan, but he will, mix in the takedowns every now and then, single leg run the pipe. Doesn't really set up his takedowns, but he is from Dagestan or something, so he probably has a fair bit of wrestling in his back pocket. How these guys win fights for Gamzatov, volume on the kicks. For Oleksiejczuk, he's durable, and he comes in with good visuals for the judges. Like, he's coming forward, he's throwing volume, he's putting the pressure on, he's landing big shots. Just good visuals as a fighter. How these guys lose fights for Oleksiejczuk, he's undersized. I don't think Gamzatov's that big either, but Oleksiejczuk is quite small for the division. Also, Oleksiejczuk, poor takedown defense. His pressure heavy style walks him onto a lot of blast double legs and stuff like that. For Gamzatov, how he loses, I think he's pretty passive as a fighter in general. Doesn't really look to take the fight by both hands and really make it his. I'm surprised he's 14-0 and he hasn't lost a split decision or something like that, because he's not the most aggressive fighter. He's not the guy who's gonna dominate the whole fight as well. He's generally gets in pretty close fights, so I'm surprised he's 14-0 and hasn't dropped a split decision in his career. Past the victory for these two. For Oleksiejczuk, obviously the pressure. Look for uppercuts. If, as I said before, Gamzatov is pretty reckless in the pocket, so look for uppercuts when he's dipping there. Level changes for Oleksiejczuk when level changes for Gamzatov when Oleksiejczuk is blitzing forward, and then try and walk him onto the blast double as Oleksiejczuk is coming forward, and you take a step back. Look for the blast double. I think a wrestling heavy game plan is intact. It is what you want to go for here, is what I'm trying to say. How I see the fight going? Alright, so not really the performance I expected from a 13-0 fighter against Klidson Abreu, who is subsequently been cut from the UFC. And I thought he lost that fight, honestly, at Gamzatov. I thought he did lose that fight. He pretty much got styled on in the stand-up by Klidson, which isn't a great look at all. I think the suffocating pressure of Oleksiejczuk is going to give Gamzatov fits. Shamil, he likes to kick, he likes to point fight, so he needs space. He needs space to work his game, and I don't think Oleksiejczuk's going to give that to him. Also, Gamzatov, he only throws singular strikes, so it's hard to keep someone off you if you're only throwing singular strikes, unless you have a laser jab, which Gamzatov doesn't have. It's pretty hard to, because, Oleksiejczuk is going to slip the first punch. There's nothing coming after it, so he doesn't have to worry. So once he slips that punch, he's going to be able to come back with combinations. So it's not really, it's hard to get the respect if you're only throwing singular strikes. I think Gamzatov's going to need takedowns. He seems a bit more of a striker to me than a wrestler, but he's from Dagestan, so he probably has a bit of wrestling for sure. And Oleksiejczuk, his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is quite weak, so I could totally see Shamil subbing him if the fight does get to the mat, and that's the concern here. But on the feet, I think Oleksiejczuk probably knocks him out. let's have a look at the betting lines. So if you guys could like the video, that'd be awesome, really helps out with the channel a lot. Prediction is Oleksiejczuk by KO. I'd play him as a dog at the moment for sure. Play him as a slight favourite as well. Oleksiejczuk by KO's not bad either. Shamil by submission is not what I was looking for. Oleksiejczuk by KO might as well. Well, you might as well just play the inside the distance line if you're looking at that. For Oleksiejczuk. It's Oleksiejczuk round 1. I play that as well, sprinkle, but yeah, mostly just the money line is good enough for me.